Walz is a buffoon. I'm sorry. This guy, he's the only school teacher in America who brags that none of his students can get into an Ivy League school. He's had one consequential press interaction with our Dana Bash, who asked him about the fabrications in his own resume, and his answer was essentially, me no understand words good. I mean, he's a buffoon. He's on a free ride for running under Harris. He gets very little press. They don't let him talk to the press for a reason. I want one thing out of this debate. I want J.D. Vance to go out there and get under his skin. He has legendary hot, short temper. A lot of governors do, but apparently he does. I want J.D. Vance to go out there and have him explain why he is denigrating J.D. Vance's story. Small town America ends up making something better out of his life, which is something we should want for every kid.
Yeah, Tim's been a complete disaster in Minnesota, and what's happened is he's so good at being this folksy, nice, kind of down-to-earth guy until people get to know him and his policies. I don't know if you know this, but his old congressional district, where he played this character for several years of being kind of a folksy, ag-friendly outdoorsman, he lost it in both of his gubernatorial races. In the last one, almost by 10 points. He's not well liked because once you get to know the real Tim Walz, he's like Gavin Newsom in a flannel shirt.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about alleged high character guy, Tim Walz, who is showing us that behind closed doors, his real personality, the dude is an asshole, right? That is the honest to God truth, okay? Because when he showed up to this Michigan college football game, we all know that he got booed, okay? I did a video about that yesterday. Tim Walz showed up, got booed because he made fans wait in the rain while he was going into the game.
Get that out of here!
Apparently, the fans did not appreciate it, right? Which is something that would be different if that was Trump, right? If Trump had to make fans wait in the rain for him to go into the game because of security and Secret Service, I'm pretty sure that the fans would be cheering on President Trump, right? They would be shouting Trump 2024, USA chants, national anthem. But with Tim Walz, no. Tim Walz gets booed before the guy gets on the field, okay? And there's new video footage coming out showing Tim Walz losing it after basically being booed all day, okay? Showing up to the Michigan-Minnesota football game. And that's what I want to talk about here going into this debate, because there's also rumors that Tim Walz is nervous, right? Very nervous going into this debate versus J.D. Vance, as he should be. So without further ado, I actually want to talk about him flipping off fans at this football game. Let's get into it. Vice presidential candidate Governor Tim Walz appeared to give the finger to Michigan college students in Ann Arbour Sunday, where he was attending the Michigan-Minnesota college football game. Michigan fans booed Walz, told him to get out of here, and shouted Trump 2024, baby, at the governor. Walz watched the game in a private box shared by former Representative Beto O'Rourke, according to Fox News. The Michigan football team ended up defeating Minnesota's football team 27-24. Human Events contributor Charlie Kirk posted on X, Tim Walz gets heckled by students at the Michigan game and then appears to flip off the students, really showing his ex-teacher vice presidential maturity, getting rattled by some college kids. Weak. So let's watch this.
Oh yeah! Trump 2024, baby!
Wow. Wow.
Oh yeah! Trump 2024, baby!
So there it is, right? There it is. Tim Walz flipping off the fans, okay, because they're shouting Trump 2024. So he basically directs his middle finger right at the crowd, right at the guy that is yelling Trump 2024. Now, again, this is allegedly supposed to be a high character guy, right? This is what Democrats talk about when they come out here and they endorse Kamala Harris. Oh, she and Tim Walz, they have such high character, right? But apparently that's not the case, okay? I personally do not think that flipping off fans just because they're shouting Trump 2024 is high character, right? I also don't think that lying about your military service, embellishing your rank, lying about your drunk driving incident, also lying about how you had children, right? I don't think lying about your whole life is something that a high character guy would do, right? But this is what they're trying to sell us, okay? This is what they're trying to sell us. This guy flipping off the fans, again, high character, okay? Seems to me he's soft, okay? He's sharp and ultra soft, okay? And this is why his nickname is Tampon Tim. Walz's detractors were quick to reply, quote, Tim Walz really showing his true colors here. If he can't handle some heckling from students, how's he gonna handle the big stuff? Time to grow up, young man. Think the woke mind virus is taking a toll on common sense. Toughen up. Yeah, I agree. He definitely needs to toughen up. Okay, definitely, for sure. Quote, if some frat boys get under his skin, what's going to happen when he gets a phone call from BOOED? Yeah, that's 100% a fair point, right? If this guy can't handle some booze without getting super triggered, how is he going to handle Putin? I mean, I guess as of right now, the more pressing question for Tim Walz is how is he going to handle JD Vance, right? Because that's who he needs to worry about going into this debate. And apparently this guy has the nerves, okay? He's fighting the nerves going into the debate. This is what CNN is reporting, okay? This is what they're saying. Timothy is a little anxious going into this debate, despite the fact that this guy was talking big junk, big smack about how he could not wait to debate JD Vance.
Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, JD studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on! That's not what middle America is. And I gotta tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So, you see what I did there?
Yeah, so that is Timothy Tampon Walz, who apparently was putting on an act, right? He basically was saying, hey, I can't wait to debate the guy, right? Except this story right here from CNN tells a little bit of a different story, okay? And Tim Walz had big cojones that day, basically pushing this false story that came from the left about JD Vance having sex with couches in order to basically hype up this upcoming debate between him and JD Vance. But again, behind closed doors, things apparently are different. Let's read here. Tim Walz is telling people he's just as nervous about facing JD Vance as he was the Sunday afternoon in August when he warned Kamala Harris in his running mate interview that he was a bad debater. Maybe more nervous, according to multiple people who've spoken to him. And the pressure is even higher when, for the first time in modern campaign history, the vice presidential debate Tuesday is likely to be the last marquee event before Election Day. With many voters still saying they don't know enough about Harris, it could be up to Walz to help convince them to trust a vice president he barely knew himself before she picked him. Yeah, so I agree with this, right? I think that this debate is actually going to matter, despite what a lot of people in the mainstream liberal media are saying. They're saying, oh, well, the vice presidential debate never matters. I think in this case, it will matter. And one of the reasons why is because Trump did not do as good as he should have did in the first debate with Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris did not really help herself out in the first debate against Trump because essentially she allowed the moderators to debate Trump instead of actually making a case for herself, okay, and answering the tough questions that the voters want her to answer, okay, before they can trust her with their vote, right? So it's now up to Tim Walz to make that case. And this is probably the last chance that the Kamala campaign will be able to do so before the election. And come to find out, Kamala Harris may have made a mistake picking Tim Walz, considering how much this vice presidential debate probably will matter more so than past vice presidential debates, because apparently Tim Walz is just a carbon copy of Kamala Harris when it comes to debating, because he, just like Kamala Harris, rely on word salads without really answering the question or saying anything in order to debate. Take a look.
Dr. Jensen, you debated Governor Walz 3 times, same year, 2022. What most stands out from those encounters?
Well, Tim Walz is an affable individual, and I think he does a nice job of trying to resonate with the everyday person. So I think that's the initial impression he'll make. But for me, I think it would be word salad. Tim is very good on his feet, and he can put one word after another. And when he's done, whether it's 30 seconds or 90 seconds, when he's done, you're tendency is to say, yeah, that sounded pretty good. But then if you ask yourself, well, hold it, what did he actually say? Then you're sort of left a little empty. So I think he's very good at sort of an extemporaneous word salad. But I do think that J.D. Vance would do best to try to brand Tim Walz. Don't try to hit Tim Walz on all the various things. Don't allow 7 or 8 superficial wounds to take place. Try to get 2 deep cuts. Try to point out the fact that Tim Walz is a little slippery on labels. He's not quite accurate. When he says he retired as a sergeant major, pin him down. When he says he helped coach a team to winning a state championship in football, find out that actually he was one of 7 different assistant coaches. Try to pin him down and try to brand him so that when the debate is over, the audience has 1 or 2 things that they can really hang their hat on.
Yeah, so basically Tim Walz is a carbon copy of Kamala Harris, okay? And that's not going to get it done in this debate. I promise you, okay? Because there are a lot of questions about the Kamala campaign, her agenda, what she's going to do, and Tim Walz is going to have to make the case, right? He's going to have to articulate why is it that voters should trust Kamala Harris despite the failed track record of the Biden administration, despite Kamala's past statements about some of her positions, okay, in the flip-flopping. He's going to have to do all that. I don't think he's capable of doing it. And one of the reasons why I say that is because I expected for Tim Walz to be doing a lot of interviews in place of Kamala Harris after she picked her VP, because we all know that she sucks in interviews, but apparently this guy sucks as well too, right? Which is why he's not doing any interviews, right? You guys notice this is the least transparent presidential ticket that we've ever seen. We've never seen a ticket that basically has done 0 tough interviews going into the election, okay? They are not answering any questions whatsoever in its own purpose, because both of these individuals are really, really, really bad when it comes to dealing with the media and answering the tough questions. Talking to the aides who have coalesced around him in Minnesota and other supporters, Walz constantly comes back to how worried he is about letting Harris down. According to close to a dozen top campaign staffers and others who have been in touch with the governor and his team, he doesn't want Donald Trump to win. He doesn't want Harris to think she made the wrong choice. Well, I mean, I think that she definitely made the wrong choice. And I don't think he has the ability to really make up for Kamala Harris's deficiencies. He feels genuine contempt for and confusion over what he views as Vance's abandonment of their common roots and for flipping so many of his positions to fit with Trump. Well, I mean, if he's upset with J.D. Vance over that, then he should probably bow out as Kamala's VP, right? I'm not entirely sure how you can be Kamala's VP if you claim to be so upset about Vance flipping positions when you are the VP, the running mate of the biggest flip-flopper in American political history. The digs he takes at Vance by saying he didn't know many Midwesterners who went to Yale are a glimpse into his anxiety that his opponent learned to be a sharp debater there, according to people who know Walz. I mean, yeah, that's basically the advantage that J.D. Vance has, right? And that's why I have full confidence in J.D. Vance that he's going to destroy Tim Walz in this debate. And I don't think it's going to be close. The only thing I'm low-key worried about are the moderators, okay? The moderators could try to help Tim Walz out by framing questions in a way to hurt J.D. Vance. We all know they're going to talk about the Springfield stuff, the cats and dogs. They're going to talk about J.D. Vance and the things that he used to say about Trump in the past. They're going to waste time in this debate trying to talk about things that the American people don't care about instead of talking about the economy, immigration, the issues that Tim Walz and Kamala Harris struggle on, right? They're not going to try to talk about that. They're going to try to make the debate about stuff that really doesn't matter, right? And I personally think that is what J.D. Vance should be prepared for, and I'm sure that he will be prepared for, right? I don't even think it matters if the moderators are trying to rig the debate, because J.D. Vance has so much experience going back and forth with the opposition media that he basically already knows how to handle situations like this, right? And that is the advantage of him doing all these interviews. He's battle tested. Tim Walz is not, right? Tim Walz is not battle tested at all, okay? And I guess I mean that literally, okay, considering how this guy lied about carrying weapons of war in war, right? So again, this guy is not battle tested when it comes to this, and I think that's severely going to hurt him. And I think that J.D. Vance is going to take advantage of that. I think that J.D. Vance is going to do an amazing job here, especially if these rumors are true that Tim Walz is nervous, right? That he knows that, okay, I'm probably not going to be very good in this debate versus JD Vance. And aides insists this isn't just about setting expectations. Quote, he's a strong person, said Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, who's known Walz since they were first elected to Washington in 2006. Quote, he's just not a lawyer debater type. It's not like he was dreaming of debates when he was in first grade. Well, I mean, listen, here's the thing. I think the purpose of this article also is to try to lower expectations for Tim Walz. Again, not that I don't believe the things that are in this article, right? I definitely believe that Tim Walz is afraid of JD Vance. But they're trying to lower expectations, and they're coming out here and saying things, well, he's just not the lawyer debater type. Okay, well, if that's the case, why the hell did he come out and say that he can't wait to debate JD Vance, right? If he knows inside that he's actually a weak man, right? That he really don't want to do it, okay? Again, this doesn't sound like strength to me. This sounds like weakness. Well, I'm afraid of letting Kamala down, right? Again, this guy is not a representation of a strong man. He's a representation of a weak man, and only a weak man would support this ticket, right? I'm so serious about that. So with that being said, apparently he's using Pete Buttigieg as his debate opponent in mock sessions. And, I think that Pete Buttigieg is probably one of the Democrats' best BSers, okay? So they're using the best they got, right? They are definitely trying to help this guy going into this debate because JD Vance is an absolute beast. Like I told you guys, he's been battle tested. I fully expect for him to dominate this debate. I'm a little worried about the moderators, but quite honestly, JD Vance is prepared for that. And I really do think that the winner of this debate will matter to a certain extent because this is going to be the last debate going into the election, I believe. And I don't think that Kamala Harris did a good job answering the pressing questions that the American people have in the last debate, and I do not think that Tim Walz has the ability to do that either, right? Otherwise, he would have been doing interviews on Newsmax, Fox News, News Nation, CNN, ABC, all of these networks, right? He's not even going on the liberal outlets, okay? He could at least go on MSNBC. They'll give him a softball, right? He can't even do that. So the fact that he can't even do that tells me everything I need to know about his ability to do the job that the VP is supposed to do, which is to make the president look good, right? So I fully expect for JD to dominate this debate. We will see what happens going into the debate, but I do think that it will matter somewhat just because it's going to be the last time that we're going to have this type of debate going into the election. And if Tim Walz cannot make up for Kamala Harris's deficiencies, then that's going to be a problem. And I also think that speaks to her judgment, her picking somebody that's basically just like her, that can't balance out her weaknesses, which is another reason why she's not qualified to be president of the United States. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.